I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I just got this image, streaming live, and it's like Amelia Earhart. I see a scarf around your neck and the wind is blowing. I don't know why I have that picture.
Yeah, that's probably not the picture, but I do have long blonde hair, so maybe that's similar. I don't know.
Yeah, that must be the screaming part right there. Little less of the weather today, so I have to apologize.
That's okay.
I know you've got this report on the migrant caravan, and we'll get into that. And also, we got to talk about the two little Chinese guys stepping across that. Did you see the wall that they stepped across? It's about an inch tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
There's got to be captions on that one, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done it myself. I've gone to the border at various points, from anywhere from Texas to Arizona to California. I've stepped along the border, and there are plenty of places where it's barbed wire or no fence whatsoever, and I'll jump on both sides of the border, wait for Border Patrol to show up, and then of course they never show up. I think I actually have a video of that up on my YouTube page. Showing how easy it is to get into this country. Sadly, it still remains. Yeah, in Spanish.
You want to talk about the caravan first, and then maybe if we have time, we'll get into Smiling Kim and Smiling Jong and all that.
Yeah, we could talk about.
I had a report.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say no. I just go. You're.
Every time I get ready, she gets timing is perfect. I don't know what to say. Anyway, just before you came on, I don't know if you heard about when I just published this thing a couple of days ago, I guess it was, or yesterday. $46,654.30 is what it costs the American taxpayer for each alien that is in a detention bed for 1 year. $46,654.30. Why not shut down illegal aliens coming into the United States? And you figure, with how many there are, let's just take half of it and give everybody in Social Security a $20,000 raise.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, I think there's more Americans than the 20,000 would allow for. But what I will say on this is that we can do this. Other countries actually do this. That people will cross the border, they get apprehended right away or close to right away. Border Patrol will pick them up, take them to the station. What they need to do is put them through, the fingerprints, the biometrics, so you can, in essence, follow where they are. And then they need to turn around and that same day send them back home. And if home is in Honduras, they go back home to Honduras. If it's Nicaragua, they go to Nicaragua. If it's China, they go to China. You have to send them home, and you need to have these, quick and speedy trials, and it has to be turned around so we don't have to put these people up in detention beds.
I got to tell you, the problem, and even Obama was faced with it, is when the countries say no, we're not going to take them back, And I had a guy said, hey, get an airplane, give them a pair of shoes, and, some milk and cookies, and just fly over it and say, okay, you're home again. I don't know, but it's really hard if they're not going to take them back, because I guess their plan is to get rid of certain
Well,
if
they... Oh, okay.
Come up on our bottom of the hour break here. Let me get all this good stuff out for the listeners, and then you go ahead, all right?
All righty.
CKDreport.com. So the last name before it, DVORAK. It's everywhere. When she's not streaming, you'll also find her on Facebook. San Diego6.com. It's there every once in a while. Also, One America News Network. But if you want to sign up, get her great releases,
Yeah, well, first I want to address the question right before the break about some countries that won't accept these their citizens back into their country. I mean, that's an easy solvable situation, and President Trump has proven that he's a pretty good negotiator. You know, you tie it to money. A good number of the nations around the world collect money in different ways, whether it's through U.S. aid when they have natural disasters, whether it's from foreign, military money that comes through the State Department. So you can tie it to that and say, okay, well, you're on this list here. You don't want to take your own people back. Then you're on the list, and you will no longer be allowed to apply for grants, apply for any kind of financial aid with the United States. I guarantee you that would stop them dead in their tracks, because that money is more important to them than individuals that they refuse to take back. So that I just wanted to make a point of that we've talked about that on this show, I believe, as well. So, and President Trump, this is something, and he has tied this to NAFTA. Canada and Mexico are working on the renegotiation of NAFTA, and he has said that if Mexico carries on with this activity, that this will be tied to the new NAFTA agreement. And of course, promptly the Mexican officials said, well, how dare you? That's outrageous. You can't tie that to the trade deals. Well, yes, we can. And we're a sovereign nation, and the DHS Secretary Kirsten Nielsen, she's been incredible on this, and she's talking about the sovereignty of this country, and has worked hand in hand with the president on this one, sending more judges, more asylum seeker specialists who handle this within ICE, and sending more judges down to the border so they can get these people. And they've stated in statements and to the media, they've said that these people that come across the border think they're going to get picked up. They think they're going to get thrown into a court system. Here's a date, 2 years, come back, which they never do. That's not going to happen in this case. What's going to happen is they're going to remain in detention, and that's what they have said. And the sad thing about all this, and this is what the Amnesty International people and the globalists and the people that want the cheap labor here are all using. They're using children. There are a lot of minors that are traveling with these people, so they can make it a really sad picture when Border Patrol or ICE arrests these people, puts them into detention facilities, which the detention facilities, by the way, are most likely nicer by a lot, than what they're used to living in. So, yeah. Well, in San Diego, we had such a problem with it under Obama. I don't know if you remember, but they set them up like at the Ramada Inn, and they literally set up a lot of people in hotels that had pools and tennis courts, and this is what I mean. Remember that? Yeah, I mean, once word got out, I think we changed that a little bit, but it's.
We had to change the face of America, if you believe.
Yeah.
And my own personal opinion, maybe he thought there were too many white faces, and this was his perfect solution.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I mean.
And it worked too. It worked.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's work, but this isn't without, Congress needs to act on this. This really rests in the Congress. And they refuse to deal with it because their wealthy donors want the cheap labor. Now, we need immigrants in this country. Make no mistake. We need immigrants. We accept 1.2 million every single year. We accept 1.2 million. Plus, then you've got the H-1B visas that have just tripled, and you have all this special visa people that come in. That's over and above that 1.2 million people. And if someone wants to come to this country, they get in the line and they do what every other lawful person has done before them. The Cuomo's, the Governor Cuomo's of New York saying, I demand you stop doing this, and you have got to stop prosecuting these people. Well, you know what? It's not his decision to make. I mean, we are a sovereign nation, at least for the meantime. And we are not an open border society. Europe has tried it, and Europe's not really, they're backing away from all united, front, and they're going back to, wanting to be individual countries. They've seen that this collectivism just doesn't work, and you're seeing that play out here in this country, sadly, right now.
You get New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio and Governor Andrew Cuomo, and you think, I wonder if Governor Brown has a handbook, that he sent them, or they don't even know this. There was a thing here, that you mentioned in your article about the Mexican foreign minister, and whenever you were talking about NAFTA a while ago, and Trump saying, it's got to be in there.
Yeah.
And this foreign minister saying, unacceptable.
Yeah.
Do you think personally, Kimberly, that sets off a tweet?
Yeah, I think so. And this is where I think President Trump uses his tweets in a positive manner. It's like getting the word out to people that, look, we can't have this country here to the south. Why are all these people coming to America? Because their country's so great? Why don't you guys start thinking about getting your country in order, educating your kids? Because to go to school in Mexico, to primary school, elementary school, middle school, high school, you have to pay for it. The government doesn't pay for education. You have to pay for it. So, of course, that's another benefit they get when they come here across the border. So why isn't Mexico taking care of its citizens? And I think that's what the president's kind of making the point here. Like, look, you guys have a lot of, manufacturing plants down there that are building cars. And, we don't have any more washer dryers really built in this country. They're all built in Mexico. Why aren't you paying your people more and paying them a standard of living wage, maybe, less? I don't think it should be $15 an hour, but, whatever the demand is down there. Why aren't you taking care of your own people? Why are you allowing them to come up here? And I think that you're seeing the frustration from the president that it's like these politicians just think they can do whatever they want, and they're walking all over this country. And Trump's saying, no more.
Yeah, but they got away with it, Reagan, 1986. Well, one time only.
Yeah.
And we're going to put all these laws in, just like the 9/11 Commission, which you are very familiar with.
Yeah.
All these recommendations, nothing. You think that whenever they came up with USA, they would realize that it's very possible that the second letter stands for suckers.
Yeah. Yeah. It could. But, I think that, again, this is something that Congress can clarify really quickly. The folks that are coming up through Central America, China, they're coming from all over the world, actually. They get themselves either to South America, they get themselves into Mexico, and then they get into the country by crossing illegally. That's how a lot of them come in as well. I think that when you look at, the people that are trying to get in, we can't accept this. And, something as simple as saying, okay, the first time you get caught, we're going to turn around and send you back, and then you can't even apply to come back into the country for 3 years. If you do it and we catch you again, you come back to the country illegally your second time, you are banned for life. You can never come back to this country. It would stop. Yeah, but I just think that you have to have some severe consequences for these people just breaking the line. Of course, California being the sanctuary state, that's why they're all here. And I believe, and this is my belief, and I haven't talked to anybody that's told me. My belief is that they want to set up a showdown at the border here in California and try to draw the president in and make him look bad some way, shape, or form when they're arresting these people, and it'll be all over the news. And, this is, look, Trump is a racist. Look, he's arresting these poor people that just want to come here for a better life. There are a lot of poor people around the world. Why can't some of them get here to get in our country? We have laws. We have a list. So
1.2 million, that's more than all the other countries combined.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yet, it's so, there's two big things that I personally believe that it has to go with. I know what I said about Obama, a while ago, but it's the vote for the Democrats, and it's a well-established saying that once they let them in here, they get the vote. Yeah. And I also believe, Kimberly, that it is the lead as to the direction of socialism. That this is
Well, I mean, I think the Democrats are always, soft socialist in any event. But I mean, I really think that in the end, it has to be up to the country and the voters where they want to go. I mean, if the millennials want to be a socialist country, that's one way to go about it. I mean, I don't think it'll work out too well for them in the end, but it's really they don't know that. And, with regard to California, the governor and anybody who's, takes office, they have to raise their hand and, take a vote and, an oath in front of, their peers that, they're going to uphold the laws of the Constitution. Well, immigration is something that's in the Constitution, and we have a right as a sovereign country to enforce our immigration. And by not following the law like Jerry Brown wants to do here, and the majority of the lawmakers in this state, I mean, it's a navy blue state, as you know, they don't care about following the law. They think they're bigger than the federal law. I mean, and they want to secede. They say we are the sixth largest economy. They're not the sixth largest economy. But if they were to secede, I mean, I almost think I would like to see it, just because I think it would be, such a good lesson for everybody around the country to see. The people that are 65 and collecting their Social Security, guess what? They would stop getting their checks. So the Democrats, how are they going to pay the Social Security, all the retirees? How are they going to pay that? The next thing, there's a long coastal border, and then they've got a border with Mexico. Border Patrol's gone. Coast Guard's gone. Military's gone. How are you going to protect yourselves? Are the gangs going to come in and live, and then we're just going to live that way? It's...
So you haven't met a MS-13 gang member yet. Well, congratulations.
Here they are, yeah.
I tell you a lot of stupid things, okay? Are you ready for this? The biggest barriers they're going to have for succeeding from the nation, are you ready for this?
All right.
Chargers, Angels, the Raiders. Of course, the Raiders will be in Vegas.
Yeah.
The Chargers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of these professional teams, the California University system is going to go, there goes USC, UCLA,
Yeah.
even Stanford. I mean, they could have a problem with that, but personally, I'd say break it up into three different sections. Maybe I'll move closer to you, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, the best thing, I think, that if California really is upset and they don't agree with the politics, I mean, they're, Central California, Northern California, with the exception of San Francisco, is conservative, and it's very red. But there's just not the numbers that live out in the rural areas, so the cities, take the vote. Making it in Northern California and in Southern California, that perhaps could work, and the liberals can, they'd take over the South most likely, and I don't know what San Francisco would do. Maybe just, who knows what happens with San Francisco, but...
They may become part of China.
Yeah, who knows? But it's just, when you look at the, these statements that some of these politicians are making, and even like the big PAC donors to the party, what they're making about, California, you know what? One of the highest tax states in the country. You don't think people would leave? They'd have to tax people even more. Like I said, people wouldn't get their benefits. They're on unemployment due to disability, and they collect that for the rest of their lives. That's a responsibility that the new country of California would have to cover, and they don't have that much money. And
I saw a report last night. I think it was 800,000 Californians expected to leave the state because of the taxes.
Yeah.
800,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and
They're probably the wise ones, so they'll be the Republicans, I guess.
Yeah. But you're seeing movie stars moving out too. You're seeing they're making money, and they're like, "Well, I'm not going to pay that extra 13% because I'm rich. Forget that. I'm just going to have a couple homes, and I won't live here."
On the caravan story, and I'm going to spend a couple of minutes after the break coming up, because I want to talk about Korea and get a comment from you.
Okay.
But about the children, in the caravan, isn't it amazing how, even like Hillary, it's for the children.
Yeah.
It takes a village to raise a child, blah, blah, blah. And like the gun march, and how the gym used the children, for their selfish political
Yeah. after the parents. What kind of parents put their kids through that? You do that in this country, they take your kids away from you. Social services would come take your kid away from you. I hear nothing talking about that issue. Yeah. Well, let's look at it this way. In a clear movement by the President of the United States, he sent Mike Pompeo, who was not the Secretary of State at the time, but a few weeks back, he sent him over to have high-level meetings with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And that was quiet. Nobody talked about it. There was no media. He came back a week or so after the event happened. They announced that he went over. You don't think that Mike Pompeo had anything to do with it? You don't think that the U.S. has been working, the military's been working, the State Department's been working with North Korea? What was Obama doing the last 8 years of when he was running the State Department? Did he even reach out and have any kind of high-level meetings with the president of North Korea? And again, I look at this because you know that I cover the Iran situation with a lot of passion, and they're headed for regime change as well. Why not take these axis of evil countries and turn them into allies? And it's possible. And what happened today shows that the President of the United States understands what's at stake. And he doesn't want to go to war with the Korean Peninsula. We've got troops stationed there. He'd like to bring those guys home. And it looks like we may be on the way. We may. I mean, we have to wait and see, how the North Koreans act from here on out, if they show signs of, relinquishing their harsh punishments for anybody who speaks ill of the president or, tries to, defect from the country. We will see where this goes. But is there a question that having negotiations and peace negotiations between North Korea and South Korea and the United States and whoever else is going to participate with this, I don't know how that cannot be good, and I don't know how anybody could say that President of the United States had nothing to do with this. He had 100%. He had everything to do with this, and he's just been quietly doing things like this behind the scenes. He's quietly helping the Iranian protesters to help them in quiet ways overthrow, the Muslim clerical regime that's been oppressing them for almost 40 years. The President of the United States is doing that.
Here's the Nobel Peace Prize, which, in my opinion, is like a measurement, but it's a broken stick for sure.
Yeah.
And Obama got it. He got it because what? They elected him president? Yeah, and then they gave him the job.
Yeah, and then like 2 months later he went to war with Libya. 2 months later he went to war with Libya. I don't know what war and peace do.
Worked hard getting Iran billions of dollars, so that's okay, yeah.
And he did that as well.
We can't run out of time. Go ahead, real quick.
I was just going to say, he didn't. President Obama did not contribute anything to peace around the world. Relations with countries, whether the media wants to accept it or not, has soured. And right now, you're seeing the Trump administration reach out and saying, "We want peace. We want you to work with us. We want better, trade relations with everybody in the country, in the world." And he knows it. So.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. Enjoy it every time.
All right. righty. Have a good weekend. Thank you.